Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
From our virtual studios in the Netherlands
and Camarillo, California.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your favorite show called Marketing Geeks. That's right. Out of all the shows called Marketing Geeks, we know this one is your favorite.
Not only is it your favorite, but it is the #1 podcast in the world titled Marketing Geeks. And it's an incredible success. We have our fans reaching out to us every single day on social media, and we love all 7 of you fans. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. And every once in a while, we do have the 8th fan show up, only to disappear again into the void.
Only to have that inevitable breakup with one of our other fans. It's very, very hard.
And now, today's show is going to be amazing, folks. We've got marketing news. We've got tips and tricks. We've got things that will change your life in strange and mysterious ways. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is time for the Marketing Geeks.
Marketing Geeks.
How you doing, man? How's it going? I hear it's raining over there in California.
It's pouring.
It's raining here too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We have something in common.
But then
Amazing.
again, it's the Netherlands. We do. A few things. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for the Marketing Geeks radio program. We've got a dynamite show. Today, we are going to talk about explainer videos, why you need one possibly, how to produce them, the platforms that you can use. We're going to cover a lot of territory today. So, make sure that you have a pen and pencil, or you just listen to this episode many times. And don't forget to share
maybe
it.
Maybe some paper too, unless you want to write, on your arm or something.
Old school.
Fine.
Old
I
school
don't care.
Paper. Yeah.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with just 30 calories and no artificial sweeteners. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
And this episode of Marketing Geeks is we put a lot of effort into this particular episode because we want it to be awesome. I bought a brand new mic. I don't know if anyone can hear the difference, but brand new microphone. I feel pretty good about it. I've been investing in a little bit of equipment lately. I bought a DJ turntable, man. I have 2 turntables and a microphone now.
Where it's at.
So it's where it's at. So be ready. Last if you followed if you came to the our webinar, our monthly webinar, we appreciate it. That was pretty cool. We did a webinar on video marketing on YouTube. And
video advertising. Advertising on YouTube was the webinar.
That's right. And and that was so for all of you who attended, thank you. And if you missed it, then you do have a way of seeing that webinar, and that is simply become a subscriber for $4.95 or more a month. And that will be something that we would greatly appreciate, because we now have enough money in our coffers to buy a coffee pot for our intern, which we don't have enough money to hire yet. So,
yeah, but we really want to get to that bulletproof coffee level where we can get, organic butter and get some of that MCT oil. And, I have expensive taste, so I want to get that bulletproof coffee, but we're a long ways. We're at the Folgers right now.
That's right. That's right. So please make a donation if you find this valuable. And you can always reach out to us on LinkedIn. We have a couple of shout outs that we want to give to some of our 7 listeners. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I had Kristen Bush reached out to me on LinkedIn, who is a fellow graduate from the same high school as me from Novato, California. She also attended San Marin High School. And she works at Social Media Examiner, which is a pretty cool social media website. I've followed their work before, so we might actually get her on the show in the future.
Ooh, that would be cool.
To talk a little bit about what it's like to work at Social Media Examiner.
Yeah, and have just get someone's opinion on what they feel the new trends are, see if they match ours. And some of our other amazing listeners, we love you all. I also want to reach out to Christopher Lewis one more time, who he actually reached out to me on LinkedIn to just let me know that my mic didn't sound good on one of our previous episodes. And so I had to remedy that and by buying a new mic. So thank you, Christopher Lewis, for convincing me I needed a new mic. And here we are.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Christopher Lewis, for letting me have an easier job editing.
That's right.
But even I'm on not a great mic. I'm on a Yeti Blue right now, which is, it's an okay mic. I like the Yeti Blue, but I do eventually. I want to upgrade to a higher end microphone, and that will happen this year. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to happen this year, but it will happen.
Well, we need a few more listeners. We need to get at least one more of our 7 listeners to donate at that $4.95 mark. But thank you all to those of you who are donating. At the very minimum, if you don't feel like donating, then just please leave a 5-star review and tell 500 of your closest friends. And we will be. Yeah,
we really would appreciate if you're listening to the show. We really would appreciate if you would go to iTunes and rate the show, leave a review, leave a comment. We would love to get some more reviews and comments on there. That helps us kind of grow the awareness around this podcast and build the audience up so that we can deliver to you amazing content each and every week.
That's right. That's right. We have some great news for you just to keep you up on what's happening in the social media /marketing /SEO world. So without further ado, it's time now for the Marketing Geeks news update.
A survey says that 41% of Americans somewhat or strongly support AI development. 82% want AI carefully managed, and universities and the U.S. military are the most trusted to build AI. Back to you, Andros.
Really? According to who? Now, who's this story from?
This story is from the MIT Technology Review, so that's actually a pretty reputable source, I would say. So we're talking, MIT. And I just think it's interesting. So I'm surprised by those numbers. I actually thought there would be more distrust. So 41%, that's still less than half, are fully trusting of AI. But I thought it was interesting that the U.S. military was rated as one of the most trustworthy sources of AI testing, because I just think about Terminator the whole time. Like every time I think about that, it's like, haven't you seen Terminator? Have you guys not seen that? I guess we have a whole new generation of youth that just hasn't seen Terminator. And
that's right.
The reboot, I'm counting on you, James Cameron. The reboot better be good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Terminator was a fantastic documentary. We know that everything in Terminator was true. So,
except for the 1997 Judgment Day, that was the only part that's not true.
That's right. That's right. Well, the timelines have been shifted slightly due to disruption in the time-space continuum.
Yeah, we're in a different dimension.
But the funny thing is that people don't even realize how much AI is already influencing their lives. In fact, my prediction is that we are not even truly human anymore. We are evolving into a kind of a hybrid human AI sort of species. And I would challenge that almost all of our 7 listeners and those beyond are already cyborgs.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I know this...
Well, Gary Vaynerchuk actually says that in his book. I can't remember if it was the Ask Gary V book or the new one, but he talks about how humans are already cyborgs, and the first extension of the cyborg revolution is your cellular phone, which most people cannot be less than a foot away from it at any given time.
That's what I was going to say. Is like if you don't think you're a cyborg, then try going to another room without your cell phone in your hand. When was the last time you went to the toilet without your cell phone? Right? Maybe that's just me.
That's right. I mean.
So I mean,
no, it's not just you. It's not just you. But it's funny because like the other day I was driving and I realized I forgot my cell phone, and it's, it was like, oh no, like what happens now if I don't have my cell phone and I break down or something? But in the past, people didn't have cell phones. I mean, there are ways to get around. So it's just kind of interesting how reliant we have become on cellular phones. In a short period of time. I mean, we're talking 15 years or so that the cell phones have become essentially like essential in life. Essentially essential. I like that in life.
It's so true. And without cell phones, there wouldn't be marketing. Without marketing, there wouldn't be us. So there you go. But speaking of cell phones, one of my favorite apps in the world is Spotify. I would pay for my Spotify account before I pay for food. Yes, I'm a music snob. So I listen to Spotify day in and day out. And one of my favorite features of Spotify is something called the Discover Weekly playlist. And what they do is they use AI to basically calculate what you're listening to, what your music habits are during the week. And then they present you with an entire playlist of new music that you haven't listened to yet. So you can discover brand new music. It's great. It's a great feature. It's one of their most popular features. And this is according to Vox.com. Spotify's most personalized playlist is now for sale to brands. So Discover Weekly, which is that playlist. If you use Spotify and you haven't discovered Discover Weekly, it's great. It says it basically is using the algorithm and curation that it has been developing over the past few years, and now it's becoming a product. So Spotify is now offering brands the option to sponsor Discover Weekly, its signature customized playlist that updates every Monday for each of its users. It is supposedly one of the most popular features among the platform's 87 million paid subscribers and 109 million ad-supported free users. So the interesting thing about it is that what they're going to do is I pay for it. So like you paying for YouTube Red, I don't hear any ads on there. But if you use the free version, which is 109 million people that actually listen to it for free, you'll be listening to your Discover Weekly, and the ad spaces that they run in between songs will be for one particular brand. So you'll go there, there'll be a big advertisement to put like banner above the playlist, and then the ads will be running in line with that. Now, what's interesting about this is that this also gives brands an opportunity to do episodic type of advertising. And this is something that I was having a conversation with my friend Iris about this, who's been on the show. She's head of marketing for a large corporation, or head of HR. And we were talking about what the future of advertising would be. And I believe, this is my prediction, that advertising is going to get into an episodic realm where you'll actually want to follow the advertisement, because we are now in a culture where we won't sit through an hour and a half movie or a 2-hour movie, even if it's like an Academy Award winner, but we'll binge watch 10 or 12 hours of a series, right? Or we'll pay over and over again to see like the MCU or the Fast and the Furious movies, which are just like giant episodes of things. So episodic advertising, I think, is going to be a thing.
Well, I'm curious to see how this change in the choose your own adventure style that Netflix rolled out with that Black Mirror Bandersnatch episode. I'm curious if that becomes a trend or if that's just a fad, because that could really change the way that marketing takes place too. Because ads could be created almost in that kind of way. like you're saying, they could leave what are called open loops in the NLP world, where you leave people on a cliffhanger, and then there's choices to get that resolution that people want. Now, since we're talking about Spotify, Andros, I did have another article here from TechCrunch that talks about how Spotify is increasing their focus on podcasts in the year 2019, which is right now.
Yeah.
And that includes that they're going to be selling their own ads. So now that they've established themselves, it says they actually have now more than 200 million users. I guess that's between the paid and the free.
That's right.
They're moving their attention into podcasting. And so they've already started dabbling in podcast ad sales. Right now, they have a series of original podcasts. So Amy Schumer has an original podcast. Joe Budden, I don't even know who that is, has an original podcast. So there's a few original podcasts on Spotify, and those are the ones that have been getting ads so far. But what they're going to be doing is they're going to be bringing ads to the other podcasts that have been on Spotify, such as the one that you're listening to right now, Marketing Geeks, which is available on Spotify. So Spotify, if you're listening, we do potentially have a spot for you, but it's very limited. You have to act fast if you want to get on our show as an advertiser. So time is running out.
That's right. You only have just 24 hours to respond to this request. Otherwise,
but wait, there's more. Call within the next 15 minutes and you could save $5 off of the CPM.
And we'll give you a pair of Ginsu knives just for calling in. That's every order. It's really interesting because one last thing about Spotify, I said last year they bought a platform called Soundtrap, and Soundtrap is an online music creation platform where you can record and make loops and play musical instruments, and it's pretty good. But basically, they bought it so music creators can use that platform to make music and then put it on Spotify. So they're becoming quite a force in the music industry in their own right.
Yes, they are.
So very good. Switching gears, guess who's getting a divorce?
I think I've read about this. It's one of those guys.
Not me again. No,
it's not you. Okay. He has, what is he like? He's a millionaire. He's a millionaire, right?
Add lots of zeros. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about it, Jeff Bezos is getting a divorce. Now, you told me actually this morning that there was some salacious details to this divorce.
Yeah. I'm reading.
I didn't know this.
Well, I didn't quite know all this, but yeah. So there was infidelity involved, number one, and as of today, apparently there were some what do they call them on the streets? Genital pics. That's the PC version that were sent to his mistress. And apparently the National Enquirer has possession of them. And I don't know what they're going to do with them. They're probably just going to sell them to the highest bidder, or somebody's going to buy them and hide them like they did with that other case that happened earlier in the year, which I don't want to talk about.
Now this brings up a couple of interesting things. So first of all, I guess they did not have an agreement of any sort, Jeff Bezos and his wife. There
was no prenup. So no prenup is what.
No, I'm not talking about that type of agreement. I'm talking about like, you're a billionaire and you can keep being a billionaire and you can do whatever you want as long as I get to do whatever I want. They didn't have any rules around
that kind of agreement.
Type of agreement. So which is fine. I mean, some couples do very well with those types of agreement. But here's the interesting thing about all of this is if they get a divorce, which it sounds like they're going to, they got married in Washington, and Washington's rules for divorces is that if they cannot come up with an agreement, then by law, Jeff Bezos has to give his wife half of all the assets, which includes half of the Amazon stock. Now, this is kind of interesting because think about this. The man is so bloody rich and has so much pull within the most powerful company in the world that if he has to give half his stock and half his assets to his wife, he, number one, he will no longer be the richest man in the world. Number two, it will dilute the Amazon stock, which means that he won't have full control over Amazon.
Well, he won't be the majority shareholder anymore.
That's right.
I mean, he'll be tied at the very least.
Yeah. So that is kind of, again, they had no prenup. So, maybe he can talk her into just saying, look, how many billions do you need? Is like 20 billion enough to, I mean, can you imagine just like,
you take these 10 Malibu houses, I'll keep the stock.
Or whatever. But seriously, it's like, okay, tell you what, you just take 20 billion. Like, how much can you spend in a lifetime? Like, it's like, no, I want more of that. I don't know. Hopefully, they can come up with an agreement, but it could be messy.
But it's interesting because this is the richest person on the planet right now that is going through this. So this is, I think this is pretty much unprecedented, I would think.
Billionaires, they're just like us.
Well, they're just like us, but I mean, it's crazy the amount of money, and I can't. I mean, Jeff Bezos can afford a pretty strong legal team, but the fact that they have him pretty much nailed for infidelity means that his case is not going to look too good.
So what have we learned from this experience, ladies and gentlemen? Number one, don't send pictures of your junk across the internet, and Jeff Bezos of all people should know that. Number two. If you're going to be having a mistress on the side, have some sort of agreement with your spouse before you do it and get the go ahead or the okay. Or number three, get a prenup if you're Jeff Bezos. Go back in time, invent a time machine, get a prenup. Number four, I guess we'll never know what really is happening in the world ever. So there you go. That's.
I guess not. Yeah, it's an interesting story. So we will continue to update you. I am interested to know the final figures when this divorce is settled.
Yeah,
because and I want to know how it affects Amazon, because it could have major ramifications to the company.
That's right.
So it's very interesting.
And how, as we've discussed in the past, Amazon is taking more and more money away from Facebook advertising. So that could affect actually right down to the core level of what we do, because based on how the platform changes or shifts, if it does, we don't know. So one last story here is Google Chrome has a built-in pop-up blocker for annoying ads, like an ad blocker. And so they have an ad initiative that they've been testing, and they are going to roll it out worldwide. So basically, if the ad is too annoying, if they deem it too annoying, then they're going to block your ad. So back in the early days of the internet, the advertising online was basically like these flashing banners that would, make anyone with epilepsy go into a convulsion. But, ad blockers have become a thing. And some of the ad blocking software went to war with Google Chrome because, Google makes their money from advertising. So they came to some sort of agreement. So Google has decided to create their own ad blocker. And they've rolled it out. And basically, if you don't play by their rules, then they will block your ad. So real quick points on this. This is from marketingdive.com. Google Chrome announced in a blog post that it will stop showing disruptive ads worldwide beginning July 9th, following news that they have a better ad standard that would be expanded. And the standards have been available in North America and Europe, and Google Chrome has been filtering ads on site in these countries since last year. The standards have been developed by the Coalition for Better Ads, which, of course, the Coalition for Better Ads sounds really like a bunch of people getting together, but it's probably just Google.
Which is probably owned by Google.
Right, of course. They filter ads based on 12 experiences that users find intrusive and advertisers and publishers should avoid using.
And what's interesting is I have a feeling that they're going to be blocking all the Facebook ads are disruptive, all the Instagram ads are disruptive, all the Amazon ads are disruptive, but the Google AdWords and YouTube ads, those are fantastic.
Right. I don't know what these 12 disruptive points are, but according to them, that would be a good. Actually, that would be a good webinar for us to do, because talking about Google display ads, because we talked about Google or YouTube ads, but we haven't gotten into display ads, which is those ads that follow you around the internet. So we should definitely talk about that. So, all right. Without any further ado, I think it is time to move into the meat of our show, which is all about explainer videos, right? That's what we...
Explainer videos.
So what is an explainer video? You've seen them, of course. Now, first of all, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world next to Google itself. And when you search for things on Google, videos will often show up in the main search results. So, you have an opportunity to game the system a little bit. In fact, I have a couple of techniques that I use to make videos show up above all other content in search results. And if you, we did a webinar on that a couple of months ago. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, as soon as you become a subscriber for $4.95 a month, you can see that video where I showed how I got a video ranked in number one in 10 minutes. So, but with that, if you have a product or service, one of the best things that you could do is create an explainer video. Now, think about your own habits, like the way that you maybe search for a product or service. Whenever I think I just mentioned, like I bought a new microphone and I bought a DJ mixing station, 2 turntables and a microphone. But before I was doing that, a couple of things that I did in my research, and I'm sure that everyone follows suit, is I look up reviews. I look up, how these particular products are used. I go on Amazon. I see if they're in the top 20 of best-selling items. I look up, but I also go to their website and I go on YouTube and I look up how these units are used, like what, how people use them and explain how to use them. So an explainer video can run in different types of formats. They can be anything from someone just using the product to how to do a certain feature on the product to how it can be used. But and they can look in different in each way. So they could be someone just in front of a camera, just talking about the product. They could be one of those whiteboard videos. But an explainer video is kind of essential if you have a product or service, because guaranteed someone's going to be doing some research on your product or service, and they want to see exactly what the results are, how it's being used, and if it's easy enough for them to use. So,
and what gets me excited about explainer videos is that it has a lot to do with copywriting. And if you've been a fan of the show, you know that I am a copywriter. I love copy. And it also brings in those influence tactics that we did a whole series on. So if you go back, I don't remember the episode numbers off the top of my head, but we have a whole series on influence tactics that come from the book Influence by Robert Cialdini, where we actually go through each tactic with an episode on every single one. But a lot of those tactics are going to come into explainer videos. They come into copywriting. They come into email marketing. But scripting is one of the keys to effective explainers. And I'll let Andros start talking about that. But it just gets me excited because I love copy.
That's right. So there's a few things that you want to do before you start doing this video. Now, unlike a video where you want to get your product seen through like a search result, this is going to be a video where someone is kind of finalizing their decision-making process, and they need to be convinced as to why to use your particular product or service. So you need to ask yourself beforehand, what are you, there's a couple things that you want to figure out before you start this process. And one of them is, the first one is, how are you going to use this video, right? So is it going to be on your homepage? Is it going to be on dedicated landing page, social media, Facebook? Is it going to be in a trade show, in-store displays, YouTube pre-roll ads, which we talked about in our previous webinar, sales pitches or presentations, or even email blasts, right? So these are all different types of channels in your multi-channel strategy. But the real question is like, really, who is it going to be for, and how is it going to be used, and where are people?
Well, and depending on the outcome too, and the price point, especially the price point, like your outcome may be to sell the product directly to the website, or your outcome may be to get them onto a phone call, especially if it's a higher end product. So if your product is $10,000 or higher, you're probably not going to want to sell it directly through a website. You're probably going to want to get them onto a phone call and start, building a relationship and then having an enrollment conversation right there over the phone. So that you're coming up with your specific call to action One other thing that I think you'll talk about this, but is you want to kind of think of what's the emotional state that I want to elicit from this video, because there's a big component of this is getting the person into the emotional state that you want them in. And the music that you select underneath your explainer video is going to be very critical to establishing that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go here, but I just wanted to bring that up right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, also bear in mind that since, music is important, but also since most mobile users don't even have the sound on when videos start playing, you also want to have a compelling visual at the very, very beginning, at least in the first 3 seconds. I always tell people, if you're doing an explainer video or any type of video on YouTube, don't waste your time with a fade up, because that's going to be about a second and a half of your 3 seconds that you have somebody. And if it's just a fade up with a talking head, you've already lost somebody. So you need to start with something really awesome and eye-catching. And then eye-catching enough that they'll...
Well, once again, this is... this goes into that pattern interrupt. You want to interrupt the person's pattern and get them out of their trance state that they're just surfing through the internet on. You want to interrupt their pattern and get their attention. So you have to have something very compelling. So it could be like an awesome text effect where the text is just like flying across the screen. Of course, every explainer video really should start with an explosion, right?
Right. or like a zombie coming out of the ground, or a spaceship. Absolutely.
Well, what's funny is if it's scripted correctly, you can get away with a lot of that stuff, and you just have to kind of tie it into the narrative. But yeah, you want to interrupt the pattern, and if you can, if that's what interrupts the pattern, and you have a creative mind and can tie that in somehow to some sort of metaphor, that can be effective. I've seen people do like really random pattern interrupts and then tie it back to the story and metaphor. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. You can have fun.
Absolutely. And it's a good storytelling technique for your business. Another thing that you got to figure out is, what's your video objective? Like what is the thing that you want people to do at the end of it? So, you were talking about like getting people to engage in the conversation, but is it just simply a video that explains the product and service to help people with the buying process on the customer journey? Or is it going to be something that you really want the call to action to be, sign up for the email, we'll call you, to help with your sales process, let's say. So really you have to think about like what the objective of the video is going to be. Is it going to, like, what part of the sales process is it going to be for you? Because remember, your explainer video is basically in lieu of having someone in the room with the person trying to convince them to plunk down money or sign up for something.
Well, and it might even be like, if it's a pre-sale, it could just be a hype builder. It might just be building hype about it and building awareness about the product that's going to be coming out.
Right.
So there's a number of different objectives that you could select here.
So I'll give you a perfect example. When I bought when I bought my DJ equipment, I bought the Pioneer DDJ SB3, and the reason why I bought that is because number one, it was one of the best-selling products on Amazon. But number two, when they had their explainer video for this particular product on the Pioneer website, I went to the website to see how it was used. The person who was pitching it, who was doing the explainer video, was none other than DJ Jazzy Jeff, who was the other half of DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
So what you're telling me is that you're a sucker for social proof, because you looked at the best-selling products, social proof, and then you looked for the celebrity influencer, social proof number 2, and then that made you really happy inside, and then you bought it.
You know what? It's kind of one of those things. I did get suckered into it because, but here's the thing. It's like DJ Jazzy Jeff.
It's probably a good product.
No, it's a great product. And DJ Jazzy Jeff actually helped build the product. He helped influence some of the things some of the features on the product itself. And I felt, you know what, one of two things: either the guy is hard up for money and he said yes, or maybe he really did like the product. And I bought it because of that and some of the, the ways that he was explaining how the product works. And you know what? I was like, sold. So I went ahead and I bought it. It was a good price, and there you go. So if you can find a celebrity of some sort to pitch your product, even better. I know that Dean Cain will eat dog food on camera for $2,000. Is it 2,000?
I didn't say that, Dean. I didn't say that. That was Andros that said
no,
that.
I know you won't eat dog food. You'll sit next to me while I eat dog food, but
Well, I worked on a couple of movie sets in around 2010. I was working on a couple of movie sets, and you could get people like Eric Roberts. It's throw him like $1,200 a day. He'll come out there and do it. Even Corey Feldman. We had Corey Feldman on the set one day. You just got to throw him the right amount of money, and it's not a huge surprise. We're going to get some 80s stars.
Yeah, but
but if you want to get, for the right person, that's social proof. So yeah, you can get celebrities. They're easier. I mean, these are they're not in their prime right now, but they were at one time big deals, and you can get decent celebrities for a somewhat affordable price.
Tom Sizemore, if you're listening, we want you to do an ad for the Marketing Geeks. So next,
Tom Selleck. Now, Tom Selleck's a lot more expensive than Tom
I think
Selleck.
so. You probably have to give him at least 7,000. But but the point is that you can using social proof and
what about Tom Green? How much would Tom Green cost?
We should just do kind of line up the Toms.
We should just call him. He should be on the show for free. Tom Green should just come on.
I think so. God bless you, Tom Green, wherever you may be. Next question is, how long should the video be? Your explainer video. And this is a good question. If it's an animated explainer video, you probably don't want to be any more than 60 seconds, I would say. But if you're really diving into the features of a product and showing how to use it, there's no limit really. You can have something that's 15 minutes if you're really showing the ins and outs of how to use something. So remember, since YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, if I want to, and again, going back to my DJ unit, it has a lot of knobs and buttons and sliders and stuff. I don't know how to use it. So what do? I went on YouTube and I was just looking at people who are explaining how to use this particular product. And some of those videos are, 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes some of them were an hour long. And I would, if it's valuable information to me and I'm learning how to use something, I will sit through the entire video.
Now, I wanted to go through a checklist on kind of scripting your explainer video. And this checklist actually comes from an article by Neil Patel. But I wanted to kind of go through this, and I want to put my own spin on everything. But I'm going to list these off because they're already provided here. And then why don't we just kind of discuss them, Andros, as we go through these? There's eight elements here of a explainer video. And again, there may be other things we want to add in here as well. But number one is, what's the quick elevator pitch? So we want to get your product or service in about 1 to 2 sentences. So this is your chamber of commerce speech, your elevator pitch. You're telling people. I like the format for this is. I help people do this so that they can have that is kind of a basic format for this. And it actually works out pretty well when you use that kind of formula. So again, it's I help people do this or X so that they can have that or Y.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Makes sense?
That totally makes sense.
Number two, who is the target audience? So I believe that in marketing, the more narrow you can focus down on your target audience, the easier it is to get their attention for longer periods of time. So if I'm speaking to a smaller niche segment and I'm speaking to I can understand their specific needs a little bit better if I know a very small specific problem that they face. So identifying the target audience can be very big. I think the more general you make your messaging, the more it's harder to keep people's attention because they see so many general messages all over the internet all the time. So if you can get to specifics, you're going to have more success. That's my opinion, and I think that's backed up by a lot of marketers.
And I also think that you and I have talked a lot about the customer avatar, and one of the biggest mistakes I've had with people that I've helped in business is when I ask them, so who is your product or service for? And they give me the answer, well, it's for everybody, and I'm like, no, it's not, because the single mother with 3 kids who's holding down a job is going to be different from a gay guy who wants to, who's just like out having fun versus the person who is, say, a younger demographic.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? It's like these are all separate things. And so
I would say that when people say that, they're coming from a scarcity mindset, meaning that they have a fear of missing out. So they're afraid that if they narrow their niche,
right,
they're going to miss out on sales. But the reality is it's a little bit counterintuitive. Typically, the more specific you get, the better you're actually going to do. So that a lot of people have trouble grasping that counterintuitive concept. Even though it's, pounded into their heads over and over again, just people have trouble pulling the trigger on that. That's been my experience.
Right.
And again, it's kind of a scarcity mindset. They're afraid that they're going to lose money because the person that's in this broad audience is not going to be involved in that offer. But again, the reality is you can't speak to everyone all at once with effective messaging.
Right.
So if you want to have effective messaging, it needs to be to a specific person, specific problem.
So really nail down your customer avatar. And, we've done shows about this in the past. So think about that.
Yeah. And number 3 is like, what is the specific problem you're solving? So we just kind of talked about that, but you want to identify the pain points. So I think that's a good wording on this is what causes them pain that your product or service is going to solve. The company Digital Marketer has this drawing of this when they talk about how sales is taking somebody from a before state to an after state. So in the before state, they have a problem. Maybe they have some emotional uncertainty. They're not feeling the best. And they go to and then after your product or service, they move into the after state where the problem is solved. They're feeling better. And that's what sales really is moving somebody from that point A to point B.
Right. But then how do you stand out with the, your problem / solution sort of thing? And, there's a few things like, you got to stand out. You got to differentiate yourself from other people who are offering this particular problem. If somebody's in the decision-making process, you've got to have a feature or benefit that is unique or has a certain niche that it serves. So, and make yourself seem more innovative. That's a big deal. Like you've got to really focus on like being a bit more state of the art than other competitors that might be out there. So really focus on not only problem solving but the solution that it represents when somebody is trying to find what they want.
Well, speaking to that point, I mean, the next one here is what are the 3 key benefits you would like to highlight? And to me, the benefits are the solution, essentially. So, when we're talking about features versus benefits, features are like details about the product or service. Those are just the details. Benefits are the outcomes. We want to speak to the outcomes that people are going to get. So if you can tie a product or a service to them making more money or having more time, you're going to save time, make money. Ultimately, that's what people really want in business. They want to save time or they want to make money. So if you could tie your product or service into that general conversation, and I would play with the wording. I wouldn't use it that generically, to save time, make money. But you want to kind of get there eventually through your benefit statements because that's what people ultimately want. They want those benefits, and you need to find how your product or service can tie into that and bring that in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and aside from that too, there's another component of this. I'm not sure if it's in this list, but there's friction points that a customer may be having when in their decision-making process. So, this is, friction points or pain points. Like, what are those particular things that are kind of universal? Like, the problems that people suffer
objections.
Well, not just the objections, but just kind of like, God, I hate it when I open my cans and then things fall out all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So, God knows we've all had that problem.
Well, and then, story. If you could tell a brief story like that and a story of how this product or service solved that kind of a problem, one of those common problems,
right? That
can be effective. I mean, storytelling is more effective than telling. Stories sell, facts tell.
And
facts tell, stories sell.
And a perfect example of this is like, look at every politician ever, right? Instead of saying, unless you're Bernie Sanders, the millionaires and the billionaires will get the 1%, aside from that. But most politicians, what they do is like, I'm going to tell you a story. I was on the campaign. You know who was really good at this was Ronald Reagan. I was in a taxi cab and I was talking to a taxi driver and the taxi driver told me, I just can't get this thing. And I was thinking about that. It's like, Ronald Reagan, you have never been in a taxi cab. Give me a break, right? But they tell.
I was just thinking about Joe the plumber.
Right.
I was thinking about Joe the plumber.
Right, exactly. But the thing is, but Joe the plumber was effective because he represented a segment of people that were not being heard, and so he personified a certain type of individual, and he became a real person. And this is why, again, politicians will be like, I was talking to this woman and she had a kid and the kid was in a wheelchair and couldn't get health care and blah, blah, blah. And so they give the person a name and they so then all of a sudden it humanizes it, it gives a face to this.
Well, it creates an emotional reaction.
Right.
You're creating stories, create emotional reactions. You're putting somebody into a specific state of mind, state of emotion. So stories can do that much stronger than just telling somebody facts or telling somebody, even benefit statements aren't really going to do that. I mean, you can open up people's minds a little bit if you're telling them they're going to make money, especially if you future pace that out and say, like, imagine yourself a year from now, you've gone through this product, you've gone through this service, it's a year from now, so now that you've solved this problem, what's your life like? And you kind of get them to three-dimensionalize that experience. What do you see now? What do you feel now? What do you hear now? And you kind of get them into that emotional state. So that can be useful too. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of jumping around here, but I think so it's a good point.
So basically, it boils down to personalizing and putting a face towards the solution or problem, having a character, making it seem real instead of just.
Let me burn through these last four here because I don't want to spend too much time on them. But how does your product or service work? So give 3 to 4 steps. So I always like that. Like if you could. Especially if this were like a business service or if it was like a marketing service, I like the idea if you're doing like an explainer video, you say it's like, this is a 7-step process. And on this webinar, I'm going to give you, 3 of the steps or something like that.
Right.
So you don't give them all, but you give them a few of them. You create what's called an open loop. Again, you're leaving people kind of on a cliffhanger. Like, what are the other 4? I got to know. And it creates, it puts people into a different mindset and it makes them want to close that loop and learn the other 4.
And that one other point just on that, which is people get overwhelmed with information. So if you do have a lot of information, try and keep it down to just like maybe 3 points, because after 3, people just start losing their mind and they can't even think. In fact, one of the ways that I would get clients is I would teach business seminars. And if I wanted people to sign up for my product or service, I would teach a class on something. And rather than, giving them just the 3 points, I would inundate them with like 20 or 30 points to the point where their eyes were rolling back in their head. And they would say, you know what, this is too much for me. I need to hire someone like you because obviously I can't handle it. But so if you overwhelm people with too much information, you're going to lose them. So keep it down to just a few points.
Yeah. And then what tone do you want the video to strike? Professional, conversational, fun, and humorous. This reminds me, Andros, of when you and I had a client, and I'm not going to go into specifics here, but we were working with a client and we created this. We went for fun and humor, and we had like the funniest explainer video of all time. We were like cracking up. We thought it was so awesome. We presented it to the client and not having it.
Not only that, he wanted his money back. He was mad at us. He was like upset. And it was really funny because he had an explainer video that he had created, and it was so awful and slightly racist even. And so we were like, ooh, but we felt like based on his previous attempt that we could create something with his style of humor. And so we made this whole animation. It was very funny. We loved it. And he actually got angry at us, which was, I've never experienced that ever. But to this day,
I showed it to several people, and all the feedback I got was very positive.
Oh, me too.
So it wasn't just us.
No, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but that was that. To this day, it's still one of the.
That was quite a story, though.
Yeah, it was, and I'm sad that we can't show the world it, but to this day, I still think it's one of the funniest things I've ever done. So
yes, it was very, very funny. All right, 2 more here. So do you have specific ideas or requests for the visual style? Then that's like talking about, is this going to be like a cartoon, a whiteboard video? Is this going to have live action, like specific colors? Is it going to be character animations, like those kind of things? And if you don't know, it says to suggest a creative direction. Or I see, never mind. I'm sorry about that. So that's it. Yeah. If you don't know, get help from an expert that can suggest a creative direction. And then the last one is there a call to action that needs to be mentioned? So is it going to be sign up today? Is it going to be get on a phone call with us? Is it going to be buy now? I mean, what's the call to action at the end of this? Or is it going to be get excited because this product's coming, in the near future?
Now, a couple of things. If you're wondering how to create an explainer video, we did, again, in our previous webinar on video advertising, we did have a couple of platforms. I just want to give a shout out to a new platform I've discovered. There's a few of them. Powtoon is one. Adobe Spark is another one. I just discovered one called Beyond, and I love it. Oh my God, I'm addicted to that. You can make these really professional, awesome looking cartoons and explainer videos. And it costs about $89 a month.
And like full animation too, right?
Yeah,
you can do like full animations on Beyond, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's as easy to use as a PowerPoint presentation. So that's a pretty good and powerful platform. And I'm actually going to put together some cartoons for us here at Marketing Geeks. But one explainer video that we probably won't be able to ever see, one type of explainer video for a certain type of product. It is, once again, ladies and gentlemen, time for the robot sex report. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Give it up. Yeah.
Some horn.
Here we go. There it is. That's it. Yes, it's time once again for...
How about some ukulele? Some ukulele, Andros.
Not today, my friend. Not today. Soon. So this is a story out of papermag.com. So the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, is happening now, and one product that won an award and was subsequently stripped of it because it was deemed too offensive was a female sex toy that had its award revoked for being, quote, too obscene. And this is a modern age, man. Can anything really be too obscene? I mean,
Do they have like what was classified as too obscene? I'm curious. Was there a breakdown of what was deemed to be the offending conduct?
Well, apparently, as the story goes...
Or should I not be asking that question? I'm not sure if I want to know the answer, actually.
Use your imagination, my friend. Earlier this year, an Oregon-based sex toy company called Laura DiCarlo submitted their Ose robotic massager, Ose robotic massager, for consideration in the robotics and drones category at this year's Consumer Electronics Show for the Innovation Award. Utilizing top-of-the-line micro-robotic tech, the team managed to create a, quote, hands-free product that mimics the sensations of a human mouth, tongue, and fingers, per the company's website. The result? A blended orgasm that combines... Oh, I can't really read this if kids are listening. But however,
Hey, we have the explicit tag on this podcast, so you can say it.
Okay. Well, I'll just leave it to the imagination here. But it says that the sophistication of their tech was quite advanced, and it used special robotics to actually give those sensations. However, I guess it was too real because it was evoked obscene. So it was either somebody either found it too offensive, or they just didn't like tongues in certain areas.
Did you say it's a drone?
No. It's like it's a category. So drones and robotics is a category at the CES show.
Oh, I see.
And
gotcha.
so
I was thinking like you fly that thing around and then you just kind of control it from your tablet.
I don't know, but one of two things: either somebody doesn't doesn't like robotics for whatever reason, or they just hate the taste of plastic. So, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we now end another version of the Sex Robot Report. Fabulous. All right, so why don't we get to some geek news? Wrap up the show. Got anything good for me, man? What's geeky this week?
Well, I guess the top geek stories out there. I'm actually going to bring this one up. Eddie Murphy is coming back to star in Coming to America 2.
Oh, awesome!
So they are bringing. We're out of ideas in the world of movies. So why not? We could either do sequels, we could do reboots, and why not do sequels 30 years later? I mean, it works. It's worked so well with all the other movies that they've done it for, like Zoolander 2.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like we could put this. We could put Coming to America 2 next to the shelf on Dumb and Dumber Returns, or Dumb and Dumber 2, Zoolander 2. It's like these
Anchorman 2. Like every comedy sequel that's come out that has been like 10 plus years after the fact, they've all been terrible. Like
it's because
Bad Santa 2.
Everybody's looking for the high water mark on their career and hoping that they could recapture the magic.
Well, I think, and one of the problems, I brought this up before, but one of the problems is that, like, for some reason with comedy sequels, they want to recycle the same jokes. They want to hit those same like points. I don't know why that is, because they're like, oh, we can get back that magic with the same joke again in a new setting. But I'd rather just see new jokes. Just keep the characters. Totally new movie. You don't need to. I don't need the member berries to tell me, remember when we did this joke? Remember?
Did I tell you about? I had a very vivid dream. I have very vivid dreams, and I had this one dream where Ron Burgundy of Anchorman had an award-winning story, and that he had produced, and so the Hollywood decided to turn it into a movie, and so it takes place in like the early '80s, and he's suddenly a movie producer in Hollywood. See, that would be funny, right? Because
that's a better plot, because it's not the exact same plot as the other Anchorman movie. So I like
it's like
that.
Now,
you got to take the characters in new directions. They're the same characters, new jokes, new directions. That's what we need in a comedy sequel. You don't need to recycle the jokes.
Right. And then it's like, we've already seen the news era of the 80s. Why not see the movie era of the 80s with Ron Burgundy? Now that's a movie. Will Ferrell, if you're listening, then please.
Yeah. Please, Will Ferrell. Yeah. Please do this.
They're rebooting Masters of the Universe. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're doing it. But the
can anybody top Skeletor though? Wait, who played Skeletor in the original? It was I can't remember. Who was it in the original? I can't remember. I know that Dolph played He-Man. We had Dolph Lundgren playing He-Man, and I think
who's actually one of the most intelligent actors in Hollywood.
I still can't believe that. It's amazing to me. Weird. Like, I never would have thought that, but it's true.
Art Markham and Matt Holloway, who wrote the first Iron Man film, are going to be set to direct He-Man Masters of the Universe. I really don't get it, because I just don't get it. Why would why you could build a hospital for the amount of money they'll probably be putting into this.
I hope they bring a live action Orko. Do you remember Orko from the He-Man cartoon? Am I the only one? He's like a druid guy that like follows him around. I dressed up as him. Yeah. I dressed up as him for Halloween one year as Orko. So I was like a druid or something.
Really?
And my parents were like, "This is awesome."
Great. Another sequel in the works, because all Hollywood does these days is sequels and remakes. And comic book adaptions. But World War Z 2 is being filmed with Brad Pitt. However, David Fincher is going to be directing, which I'm actually kind of excited about, because David Fincher is a very, very competent director, and I like his stuff. So be on the lookout for that, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, anything else you have for us?
You're damn right I do. I got a couple to end out the day. Well, I'm going to give one more story, and then we're going to talk about a couple trailers that came out. But Peter Sollett is set to direct. You ready for this? All you listeners under the age of 12, a Minecraft movie. Minecraft, which is that game that looks like it's 8-bit where you can build stuff, and it's kind of a cool game actually. I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it did though. It seemed like more of a fad to me, but it's been around now for a while. And yeah, Minecraft the movie, it's going to be coming out, and I think they're going to look to like do it like the Lego style, the Lego movie style. So I don't know, it'll probably be terrible, but you know what? Mark your calendars, it's coming.
And
the last, go ahead.
There's actually a Choose Your Own Adventure Minecraft show on Netflix. It came out before the Black Mirror episode. So if you have kids,
there's also a Choose Your Own Adventure Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah,
the Shrek Antonio Banderas character.
Puss in Boots, great. Last story. What do you got?
The two trailers that came out, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Men in Black International. Got a new trailer that came out, and they've replaced Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. So both of the actors from Thor Ragnarok are going to be starring in this Men in Black sequel. I watched the trailer, and I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just a cynical guy in my old 35-year-old age, but it looks horrible.
Does look pretty bad.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
It looks terrible to me.
Unnecessary sequels again.
And then the last one was the Hellboy sequel, or I guess it's a reboot. Hellboy, the reboot, released a trailer, and it's got the weirdest choice of music. It's super bizarre. The tone of that movie looks so far off. I don't even know. And then I was reading that the test screenings have been scoring like terribly as well. So I was a little bit excited about Hellboy, but my enthusiasm has dropped 7 notches.
Yeah, and it's funny because they were saying this is going to be a darker Hellboy, yet doesn't look that dark, and it doesn't look as artistically beautiful as the Guillermo del Toro Hellboys, which are the first one and the second one were both fantastically well done, and has that great art direction that Guillermo del Toro is so good at. But I'm not excited for pretty much anything coming out this summer, except I am looking forward.
Except for Avengers Endgame.
That's right, and I'm really looking forward to Captain Marvel. I think that's going to be pretty.
Yeah. Captain Marvel, Spider-Man 2. I mean, there's a few good movies coming out. This is the third Spider-Man 2, by the way.
Great. And with that, folks, thanks again for listening to Marketing Geeks, the only marketing show that also has geek news for you and a Sex Robot Report. Sex Robot Report music provided by Poddington Bear. Thank you very much. And
we are looking to end the stigma on sex robots, and that's why we're bringing awareness to that industry on the show.
You know why? Because sex robots are not people too, but soon they may be. So we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, I was reading they were going to like install human brains in them or something. There was actually an article about them installing human brains, and it's getting weird already.
Volunteer.
Before it even starts, it's getting weird.
I'm going to put your brain in a sex robot. See how you like that, buddy.
You'll live forever. We're going to make you immortal as a sex robot.
Oh, God. But we're going to ship you off to the Trump family. You'll be a heirloom. Oh, no.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you can donate to the show for $4.99 a month. You can get a copy of all the webinars for $1 a month. We will give you a shout out on every single month that you renew. And for $20 a month, you can get access to a private call with the two Marketing Geeks.